Dear fellow Armenians, we are facing one of the most difficult and important challenges in the entire history of our nation and country. Emboldened by its victory in the latest war in Artsakh and supported by Russia and Turkey, the Aliyev regime continues its encroachment on Armenia's sovereign territory and hopes to force the puppet regime of Nikol Pashinyan to surrender additional Armenian lands and Armenia's interests to the enemy. I have no doubt that more than 200 years of Russian domination in the South Caucasus is coming to an end. Since the very first day of Russian presence in our region, the Russian Empire has pursued an expansionist policy. Nations and territories captured by Russia were just small bargaining chips for its dealings with other countries like Persian and Ottoman empires in the past, and Turkey, Azerbaijan, and others in the modern history. In fact, the Russian Empire never took into consideration the interests of the South Caucasus nations. The 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh war shook up the status quo. Russia tied Armenia's hands and allowed Azerbaijan and Turkey a victory on the battlefield. It even turned a blind eye to Turkey's deployment of thousands of serious jihadists against Armenian forces. Russia then used the ceasefire agreement to shred the Minsk group status quo and impose its forces as peacekeepers in the region. It has now been almost 3 years since Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev's forces, backed by Turkish and special forces and Islamic fighters from Syria, launched a surprise attack on Nagorno-Karabakh. They managed to annex a large chunk of Nagorno-Karabakh, not only due to their own military power, but also because of the incompetent and treasonous leadership of Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. Sadly, 105 years after the start of 20th century first genocide, Armenians again had to abandon their own towns and villages under the genocidal threat by the same regional actors. The ensuing ceasefire was more a victory for Russia, however, than it was for Azerbaijan. Putin fulfilled his long ambition to insert Russian troops in the South Caucasus, from where they can further slow down their natural move toward democracy and freedom. Aliyev sacrificed his country's sovereignty. He cannot make a move without the approval of his Russian benefactors and business partners. While Armenia has close cultural ties to Russia, much like in 1921 when Lenin-Ataturk Pact divided the young independent Armenian Republic between Soviet Russia and Turkey, Russia continues to backstab Armenia and undermine its independence. Today, the Russian leader seeks to force Armenia to open a corridor across its sovereign and undisputed territory between the Azerbaijani enclave of Nakhichevan and Azerbaijan proper. He also seeks to impose upon Armenia a demarcation and delineation agreement with Azerbaijan based on the administrative borders imposed by Joseph Stalin between the Armenian Soviet Socialist Republic and Azerbaijan Soviet Socialist Republic. As recently noted by an influential political analyst from Washington, there is no reason why the United States and the rest of the world should accept Stalin's borders, however. Legally, the United States never fully recognized the 1920 Soviet annexation of Armenia. It hosted an Armenian embassy in Washington through 1933 and in 1959 designated Armenia as a captive nation. Azerbaijan itself has de jure rejected those borders by declaring itself a legal successor of the first Azerbaijani Republic rather than Azerbaijan Soviet Socialist Republic. The Commission for the Delimitation of the Boundaries of Armenia, which met in London as an official sidebar conference to the Paris Peace Conference, assigned Nagorno-Karabakh as well as large part of Lower Karabakh to be part of the Republic of Armenia. President Woodrow Wilson subsequently included the Commission's findings in his November 1920 Arbitral Award. This indicated official acceptance of the legality of Armenia's claims over the historic territory of Nagorno-Karabakh. Putin's policy is multi-pronged, however. By pressuring the Armenian leadership and servicemen to capitulate, the Kremlin has strong-armed Armenia into exclusive dependency on Russia and its security guarantor, so-called security guarantor against the victorious Turkish Azeri further threat. The Russians encourage new tensions on Armenia's border to force greater Armenian reliance on Russia. Putin has effectively co-opted Pashinyan, who became the toast of the West when he led a 2018 People's Revolution, to accept Russian forces while he ignored continued French offers military assistance. Russia's current military presence in Armenia was never meant to serve its declared objective of protecting its host from a Turkish aggression, and was a way for Russia to maintain its presence in a vital region. However, Armenia remains Russia's Achilles heel. Its freedom movement that started in 1988 helped catalyze the Soviet Union's collapse in 3 years. The present-day aspirations of the Armenian public to be governed independently and democratically pose a threat for the Kremlin and may have demographic implications for Russia's south. The United States has a unique opportunity. The Armenian public understands Russia's betrayal. Anti-Russian sentiment in Armenia is at the highest level since independence from Soviet Union. The Kremlin also knows that the country is now a low-hanging fruit for the West. The United States has a choice. It can capitalize on the situation or remain passive and let Russia take over Armenia and subsequently Georgia. But the people of Armenia need to act first before seeking assistance from their Western partners. It is time for us to act now and show United States and our other allies that Armenians are now willing for the real sovereignty and territorial integrity of Armenia accepted by the international community according to Woodrow Wilson Arbitral Award. Let's do it together. The time to act is now. We will win this fight against Moscow, Ankara and Baku and revive First Republic of Armenia. For that, we need to declare Armenia as a legal successor of the First Republic and tell the world we are ready to face the combined Russian, Turkish, Azeri aggression. We also need to secure the status of a major non-NATO ally of the United States for Armenia, which will allow us to rebuild our army, regroup, and take back what is rightfully ours. We will ensure the sovereignty, prosperity, and security of our motherland.